Just taught. I feel the need for Schmoedown. Hey guys, welcome back to the
time. We're having a great time tweeting out that we're live.
I am the captain now. A
great time. We're tweeting out that we're live. We're tagging random Toms. If you'd like to retweet and tag a random Tom.
That's not true, people. We're tagging someone who may or may not be a guest on the show. So why don't you go over to Kearns_Matthew on Twitter, check out who I tagged in my tweet. He might be coming on the show. He might not. I don't know. There's only a few good men out there on Twitter who were born on the 4th of July and would consider themselves to be the last samurai. Don't worry, guys. This is going to be a Top Gun of a show.
Sure. Yeah.
This show is very much risky business.
Go tell your mummy.
All right. Well, Matt, stop upsetting my child. All right. So we got a lot to talk about this week about the Schmoedown. A lot to talk about. Honestly, there's so much. We cannot talk about Comic-Con because we haven't all watched those matches. So if you're here to hear a discussion about that, you'll have to wait until next week. Other than that, we are going to talk about the wonderful matches we saw last week, including the new singles champion of the world, Paul Drama Llama Oyama. I don't know why his nickname isn't Drama Llama, honestly. I think it's a way better nickname than Primetime. Just saying. And we get to talk about the Great Founding Fathers versus Corruption match, which no one here has anything to say, I'm sure. No strong feelings, right? Okay, perfect. I won't have a lot to say because you can hear all my thoughts about these matches on the rundown from this past week, where I take over for Brad Gilmore. He was gone. Yeah, sorry. Well, you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes Brad Gilmore doesn't show up to work, and then you get to take over for him for a hot minute. But yeah, you can see all my thoughts on there. I'm just going to be giving here and there thoughts as we talk about these matches. But this week, I'm just here for moral support and to keep the ship afloat. So let's get going. We have a great panel to actually talk about these matches. We have, as always, our good friend, Malcolm Lay, here to talk about the Schmoedown. How's it going, Malcolm?
I'm doing good. It's good to know you think me and Matt will sink the ship. But yeah,
it's true. I mean, I don't want to say that you guys are going to sink my ship, but
you say it every time you're not going to host. You're like, I don't know if the show's going to burn next week.
It definitely is. Every week, every week I'm gone is a danger that everything will just burn down.
Zone?
Highway to the danger zone. Also joining us, as always, is Matt and his puns. How are you, Matt, and your puns?
I'm doing great. You know what I feel like? I feel like I have all the right moves tonight. That's what I feel like. I feel like a cocktail as well.
Do you have any DVDs or Blu-rays that you'd like to promote this week?
Oh, well, now that you mention it, guys, are you ready for Jane Silent Reboot? Well, before you do that, why don't you pick up Jane Silent Bob Strike Back on DVD and Blu-ray?
Perfect. All right, well, now that we have that out of the way, let's get to the Schmoedown. We have a lot to talk about. We have the two matches. Oh, we also have Abe editing. Abe, are you going to talk during this taping here?
Not really. What is John doing in the background?
I don't know. What was he doing?
He was like...
Perfect. Well, John, welcome to Take 3. Okay, well, this is, if you haven't ever joined us for a summit, this is about how they go every week. It's a good thing we do these live. Okay, so we got Founding Fathers versus Corruption to talk about. We're going to get through these matches, then we're going to talk about all the storyline stuff because there's a lot of storyline stuff to talk about. Yeah, a lot of Robert Meyer Burnett stuff to talk about. So let's get going. Founding Fathers versus Corruption. I really liked this match. I thought, Founding Fathers played fairly well. Maybe not the best first round for Roca, but after that first round, he kind of killed it at that romance category. It's one of those things where you can tell when someone's a true romantic, and Roca obviously is treating his girlfriend very well because he knows his romance movies. That's all you need to do. If you need to treat your girlfriend well, you just know romance movies really well. Obviously, come on, it's not that hard. No, you need a little bit more than that. But he knew his romance movies very well. Kind of got back in the game in that round too. Other than that, the corruption really kind of owned this match. It was their match from round one, in my opinion. Unfortunately, because I really would have preferred Founding Fathers winning this one, but it does leave a lot of questions to be answered about potential title shots that the Founding Fathers might want to use in the near future, and also leads into some discussion about an upcoming title match between Corruption and the Shire Wolves. So I want to hear your thoughts about this match, Matt. What you think about it? What takeaways do you have? Let's go.
This was, I think you hit the nail on the head, where this really was, at a certain point, this was going to be Corruption's match to lose. And I don't want to sound like a dick, but I feel like if you guys watched someone from last week, I said this, that Founding Fathers, Dan and Roka are really good singles competitors, but might not be great teammates. And I hate to be proven correct, but I just feel like this kind of just proved that to me again when you look at Chance and Mike as a team compared to Roka and Dan. And it's not that Founding Fathers were terrible in this match or anything. Roka with, romance movies, which was great. It must be nice to have a woman in your life. But I'll continue. But Corruption was they're just a stronger unit. Corruption's a really interesting team this season. And I'm interested to see where they go and what happens with Founding Fathers after this, because they're, where are they now? 3-2? Or I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm not the stats person. Abe would be the person who knows this stuff.
Regardless, I'm just interested to see how they do in the rankings. If they get into the team's tournament, it could be
Corruption. I don't think anyone who is playing for a chance to get a title now, including singles, will be in any of the upcoming tournaments. So no Corruption.
Oh, okay. So Founding Fathers can't even be in it.
I don't know. I have no idea if Founding Fathers will be, because they kind of hit it before all the brackets are going to come out. But I know, like, if Corruption will no way be in the tournament at all. And then the upcoming singles people aren't going to be in the tournament either. So no Bateman, no Snyder, no Kalinowski. I saw that on Facebook. Christian was talking about it. So
really?
That's really interesting. Just from timing perspective, there's no way they can do their contenders matches and also be in the tournament.
Can I just comment on something?
Sure.
Then what was the point between Bateman and Guy if Bateman was not going to be able to be in the tournament if he lost that match and he wins and he gets the exact same thing?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a point.
Wait, what? I don't even. What's the question? I honestly didn't
I said that that it was said because Ben won his singles match against Guy that they said he would be in the singles tournament.
Yeah, I don't get that. Just based on what Christian was saying, the comments I read, maybe whoever loses the lead up to the match will be able to make it into the tournament. But I know he said anyone who's in contention for the belt right now isn't going to be in those tournaments. So I'm interested to see why that's the case here.
I'm just saying that's going to make the brackets really strange for one thing.
A little bit. You're missing like 3 of the top
tier
people.
Well, particularly looking at singles, all 3 of those people wouldn't be able to compete. And it's just like, but those are 3 of the best singles competitors. Like,
yeah, I don't disagree with you.
Interesting.
I mean, I would double check those facts. However, I don't know if that counts the upcoming fight or the upcoming match between it's Bateman and Kalinowski.
Yeah, it's Bateman
or it's Bateman and Snyder.
No, it's Bateman, Kalinowski.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know if the loser of that could be in the tournament, and if it's just whoever's in that number 1 contenders match are out. But it wouldn't surprise me if it was all 3 of them. But yeah.
Yeah, but I personally, I think what Christian was meaning is I think that because I mean those matches would be pre-taped leading up to the title match. That whoever is the one directly facing Paul is going to be the one not in there. I think he said that one of those three won't be in the tournaments. I think it's just one of those covering the bases.
I think it's the people in the number one contender match. So at least two of them won't be playing. Which,
Yeah.
I mean, for them sucks, but at the same time, like, if you're going to be in contention for the belts, you need to be aware that that's always a possibility that you won't make it into a future match because of it. And, you know, if that's how it happens, that's how it happens.
Yeah, although, as Brian says in the chat, I think part of the reason that he decided to make that rule and announce it was probably because of scheduling as well, so...
I think
see, thank you, Abe is pulling it up for us.
I think it is an interesting, just a comment before we talk about that. I think it is an interesting sort of thing to add just for the competitors, of just like more reason to want to win the belt, because if you don't, it's not like you're going to get into the tournament and have a chance to get another shot at the belt.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't think that's Harlow's reasoning, but certainly if I'm Townowski or Snyder or Bateman, I want to win it even more but it is weird. So if Bateman wins and then let's say doesn't beat Oyama, so what was beating Guy? Because this singles match for Guy has still yet to happen, which is a whole nother thing of like, where's that?
Honestly, I think that because the Schmoedown is dependent on results of matches and stuff, all the things that happen in storylines and all the banter and everything, like it all can change, you know, within a couple weeks. Obviously, like this has changed within a couple weeks because now you're seeing that, you know, him getting into the tournament because of that match isn't quite what's happening. It's him getting into the contender spot because of that match. So, I mean, you know, the Schmoedown's all about being fluid with the storylines based on the results of the matches. And this is just another case of that, I think. So, I mean, that it's nice to bring up. See, we looked at news this week. Isn't that fun?
To Doug in the chat, he says that Harloff replied to someone on Twitter.
That's the tweet.
Oh, we have okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Matt.
I like how Kristen is pretending now she's all pretty. She's like, oh yeah, we have the graphic all prepared, when it's like, no, Abe just pulled it up while I was reading the live chat. All of our love. You know what I feel like right now, Kristen? I feel like
quack.
I hate you, Malcolm.
You should put your jacket on. Doug wants you to put the jacket on.
All right, so let's hear Malcolm's thoughts about the match before we get into too much nonsense. Malcolm, what do you think about this Founding Fathers corruption match?
Quack.
I thought this match was pretty good. Like Kalinowski was pretty much perfect the whole game. I don't think he ever got a question wrong, and I think Chance got a few answers in the James Bond one, but I think it was mostly Mike with the James Bond category.
I think it was. I mean, I think that Chance knew a couple of them, but there's no way that Mike didn't know every single one of them.
What's the purpose? Yeah. That's also like, what's the purpose at that point? Like, your teammate knows it all. Just let them answer.
Also, one thing that I found interesting, I can't remember if it was this one or the title match, but I noticed that they had Star Trek on the wheel. How it's weird that they've started putting a fandom category on, or in a geekdom category on the reel for many matches. I can't remember which one that they actually had the Star Trek one. I mean,
I think if it's a strength of someone, they can put it on the wheel no matter what. Like if Rachel wanted to put Middle Earth on the wheel, I bet they'd let her.
Yeah, I think
she should.
I think that is actually an interesting question. Well, it could be possibly just because they have so many questions for Star Trek.
Yeah.
And then in them, no one really plays them. So now they're like, well, if I have a feeling of all the people on that table, Mike or Dan was the one who probably chose Star Trek as his strength. And so they're like, okay, it's not really getting played in Geekdom. We have all these questions. If they land on it, we know someone might choose it on one of the teams. So why don't we get it up there? Because, like, believe me, they have a lot of Star Trek questions they have.
Well,
I wonder who wrote them.
It would also be nice because there's certain players who are transitioning into singles from their geekdom, like Eric Zipper, who I think they'd appreciate being able to put an inner geekdom slice as one of their specialties in a singles match. I mean, I'm sure he'd appreciate being able to put comic books up there. Not that he was on fire that last week when he played. I mean, he was amazing. I don't think he has to like put an inner geekdom wedge up there as like a crutch or something. I just think like if that's your strength, that's your strength. You should be able to put whatever. If they started a new division and it was animated, they're not going to take animated out of the Schmoedown. It's going to be in there.
Yeah, no, I mean, comic book movies I think is a fair slice because that combines both Marvel and DC because and they're separate slices anyway.
True.
Yeah, no, it's fair. That's fair. This brings up something we talked about on the rundown, which was like slice
Traitor.
hunting, basically. I know. Hey, you know what? Traitor. We talked about slice hunting and how that's like their thing now is they put up like the same categories every week and they like really look for those categories. We're not gonna, unless you really want to talk about that as well. We're not gonna copy the rundowns conversation, but I do want to ask if you were to slice hunt, what would be your slice that you put on the wheel, Matt?
What does slice hunting even mean? I don't understand.
It's basically they put the same. They have a specific slice on there that they know they're going to kill at, like James Bond, and then Chance always puts up Pixar.
Okay.
And they always try and hit those no matter what. So, like, I mean, what slice would you put up?
If I
that you would be able to kill at, basically. It doesn't even have to be one that's in existence yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, Kurt Russell is one that I've definitely put up because, one, I know pretty much most of his filmography, and it also, I don't think it's ever been played, so the questions wouldn't be picked through a lot. It's probably, and then
That's
the
fair.
other one, because don't they give 2 strengths, or are we just going with one?
You get to have 2.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I guess one that doesn't exist, or Indiana Jones probably would put that on there.
I think that's good.
Yeah, and
Both of them.
and as for me, it would definitely be Harry Potter.
Wizarding World.
Nice. Wizard.
You're a wizard, Malcolm.
But anyway,
would another one be Peter Jackson?
Oh my God, yes.
I mean,
they could just put your face on the slice.
I mean, that would definitely be a good slice too. But
I'm not gonna lie. If they ever made a Peter Jackson slice, I would pay money to put Malcolm's face on the slice instead of Peter Jackson's.
If Malcolm ever is able to compete in the Schmoedown, his nickname should be "I am not Peter Jackson."
That's perfect.
And you know what? His entrance could be all of Take 3 dressed up as like Lord of the Rings characters.
Dressed up as Peter.
Us, and he's
we got some good answers in the chat. Horror was a slice that someone mentioned. Guillermo del Toro, Disney films, Back to the Future. For me, I mean, Lord of the Rings is definitely one of my strengths that I would love putting up there. Not The Hobbit. I don't want Middle Earth. I want just Lord of the Rings. I don't want any of this fancy doodah Hobbit stuff. A second one, it's kind of difficult because I'm not like perfect in any category outside of Lord of the Rings right now. But yeah, Harry Potter would probably be my second one. Musicals, Starger, thank you. Yeah, musicals. The thing about the musicals in the Schmoedown is sometimes they do really deep cuts. And I actually haven't done so well in the musical category in the Schmoedown, but I could study up. It wouldn't be that hard.
Really?
I could do it.
This is an example of Kristen. If she's competing this round, she's like, I'm going to study musicals. I'm going to be ready. And then she's sitting on Take 3 and we're like, so Kristen, why'd you lose your match in musicals? Because Kara fucking killing me? Because having a kid is not easy to stay with for the Schmoedown, Matt.
It's true, actually. There's a lot of things I'm like, oh, I'm going to get this done. And then I don't do it because, like the yeah, I don't do anything anymore. It's great. Yeah.
Hey,
So this
guys.
match was
This
great.
episode
I
is
really
brought to
liked
you by
it.
Have a Kid. It makes your life better.
It does. It's very enriching. Okay, so let's talk about the upcoming match. So this is going to be at some point. We don't actually know when it's going to be filmed or when it's going to air. So the upcoming title match between Corruption and the Shire Wolves, this is going to be a really fun match, I think, because there's been a lot of smack talk between all of these, well, two of these competitors to the other two competitors, and the Shire Wolves are definitely the team to beat, not only because they have the belts, but just because they are kind of like, they're like the echelon right now. They're like what the Patriots were in their heyday. If you want to be the best, you need to beat the Shire Wolves. Now they are not undefeated anymore, so there's a chance that it can happen. But at the same time, their last match, getting that belt back, even though there were some weaknesses in there, they still won. Like it's really hard to have a match where you have a really shaky round one and just still pull away with the victory. And the Shire Wolves did that, and it was kind of insane the way they did it. So I'm actually not sure how I would go with this match, because Corruption has shown obviously that they're very good. They wouldn't have got this far if they weren't very good. But at the same time, the Shire Wolves have beaten adversity before, and they've won their belts back from a team that had an amazing match to get the belt from them in the first place. So what do you guys think about this upcoming Corruption versus Shire Wolves match? What do we think we're going to be seeing here in terms of a match?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think we've definitely seen that both Rachel and Mike have proven that they can easily study for general movies as well as in a geekdom. And they're both a really tough. I do think that Shire Wolf still has this by here, because I think Clark is more strong than Chance at this point in time. So I think it's all going to come down to sort of how well Clark and Chance do, really, because Mike and Rachel are on another level. They compete. And if Mike continues going perfect, it's going to probably come down to who stuffs up first.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is Mike has been just really scary good, seriously scary good recently. And it's hard to deny the fact that he could take this belt away from Rachel and Clark, just because he's been basically perfect. And in that statement, we're ignoring the fact that Chance has been almost perfect in every match leading up to this one as well. So it's like you're coming up against a really hard match when you have someone who's been putting up, batting 1,000, and someone who's just barely missing out on that mark too. So it's a daunting task for sure. But if anyone can do it, it is the Shire Wolves, in my opinion. Matt, what's your take on this upcoming match?
You guys ever watch South Park, the Black Friday trilogy? Great quote from the newscaster where it's like, "It's gonna be a fucking bloodbath, Tom." Pretty much what I assume this match is gonna be. I think it's gonna be a great match. I think Corruption is a team that they were good in the Anarchy tournament, but I feel like Mike and Chance have really taken the break from last season to this season and really worked, and they really earned this #1 contendership.
Oh, they did.
I'm not sure who's gonna win. I feel like if this was pre the Odd Couple match, I would say Shire Wolves, but now that it's like, the Russian is cut from Rocky IV, it's like, I don't know. I'm, for as much as I love Mike, I'll say Shire Wolves will retain for right now. That might change when it comes to talk about that match more in depth, but if Corruption wins, I won't be upset, but I would like to see Clark and Rachel keep their belts.
I mean, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. I think that if anyone at this point is going to take the belts away from the Shire Wolves, I almost want it to be Corruption because of how much they've turned themselves around. And I don't mean that in storyline. I mean, like, Mike for the longest time was like the butt of everyone's joke because he had a lot of potential, but people were just like, oh, he's not going to win these matches. He's playing against people who are insignificant. And like, seriously, people have been jerks to him for a long time. And Chance is like the new kid on the block still, you know, so, you know, they came into this league facing a lot of, you know, negatives. He brought himself up from basically nothing, honestly, because of how low people ranked him in everything. He became one of the best competitors in the entire league, and that's overall, that's inner geekdom, that's singles and teams. It's really hard to do one of those, and
honestly,
he's doing all three of them at an incredible rate.
Depending on how his title matches go, Mike might be a lock for comeback player of the year.
Yeah, and if you look at the instances of the Mikey 3 belts chant anywhere, you know, I mean, there's a lot of people who think that he's going to be the first person to get all 3 of those belts.
Can you imagine that?
I honestly, if anyone's going to do it this season,
it's Mike.
Well, it's going to be him or Rachel. If Rachel goes on a tear in singles,
my only thing is it's too late into this season. Rachel really hasn't done anything in singles for her to, I think, be able to get, unless she's in the tournament and she goes on tear and she wins it. But as of right now, just looking at non-tournament stuff, I don't think she'll be able to make a big enough splash
you
go
never
for the number.
know. I think at this
you never know, but
I think at this point she's earned a spot in the singles tournament, even if she hasn't really been playing a lot. Like, if she wants to make another go at that singles belt, I think at this point, like, she's earned her spot, you know? At least to me. Like, I think there's certain people that if they want to have a go at that belt and they want to get in the tournament, they've earned it.
But like, what's her, and I'm not trying to be mean, I love Rachel, it's just like, what's her record? How, because you say it like she's made a you know, she's done amazing in her geekdom, of course, but it's like in teams, but like the singles this season, I don't think she's
not played
a singles match.
No, she hasn't, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Oh, we're just able to do, you know, Kristen, when did the summit become just talking about your favorites and only about your favorites?
Hey, you know what? I talked about Mike too.
You know who does deserve to be put not just in the singles tournament, but high up?
Are we going to talk about William Bibiani?
Jody Riley.
Oh, okay.
Jody Riley, people. I don't care if you lost to Jeff Snyder. I don't. Who cares? 2-time champ. Get him in there. He'll be 3-time champ. Even if he has to take the belt away from his teammate.
But he'll probably lose to Tom Dignino, though.
There you go. There you go.
Tom Dignino is the true 3-time champ. Tom has this is what you guys don't know. Tom's just focusing on managing, but he has the ability to be a 4-time champion.
That's someone we haven't talked about being in the tournament. We need the other Tom to be in that singles tournament because that guy would rip through everybody. I don't know who he is still. I'm trying. Video Drew. I tweeted at her a bunch. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this. My conspiracy theory is just growing and growing. I've got a wall, like one of those like glass walls that I'm just writing all over trying to figure this out.
You're hanging out your mouth where you have like this circles of like who it is. You're like, I got this figured out in my head, guys.
I'm trying to figure it out. Nothing makes sense. But yes, Tom, the unknown Tom, whatever we want to call him, he needs to be in singles. He's great. I love him.
Tom.
I love him. Okay, so let's keep going. We still have another match to talk about here, and it's a big match because it's a title match. We got Drama Llama Oyama coming in, winning the belt against Dan Murrell. Not an easy feat to do. This was a crazy match, tied pretty much for a large part of this match. tied or within a certain amount of points until about round 3. Dan really pulls it away. Round 4, Paul brings it right back in. This guy, I don't know, he's got real fast reflexes. He's a ninja, I guess. Seriously, he was so fast at that speed round. And then Dan just couldn't figure out Pixar. I mean, 2 Pixar questions in a row in your 5th round. That's rough if that's not something that you really feel comfortable with. So darn you, Pixar, you lost him the belt. But congratulations to Paul. I guess if there's going to be someone from the fan leagues that wins, I would have preferred it be Smets, but I guess Paul is a close second. So awesome for Paul. Malcolm, why don't you start us off with this match? What were your takes on it? Do you have anything of note that you'd like to bring up?
Yeah, I mean, this was a very great match. It was kept very close, and it all came down to that speed round, and Paul clearly has been studying with those buzzers that you could tell, and with that last question, it's pretty rough with Dan getting 2 Pixar related questions in a row. Like, there's a few people complaining, it's like, oh, but he got animation, he also got Pixar as a category. He shouldn't have had. Like, you didn't know where those questions were going to go. They probably did it because they probably either didn't realize that they had another Pixar question and animated, or they just didn't think that they would both end up to the same person. But it was a good, and I mean, like, it's also good that that we've also got, it's shown that, like, just because you've come from a family doesn't mean your knowledge is diminished. Like, Paul and Chance and even Kevin have all shown that they, like, fan leagues are really good, and it's shown that their knowledge is in their head, and they didn't get through the fan leagues without cheating, which there has been some criticism, but not that it has happened. So
yeah, and I like that you brought that up, because it is something that the fan leagues have come into question before, whether or not people are cheating, which is ridiculous. If you're playing the game, you play the game. The 99.9% of the people in the fan leagues are playing it 100% accurately, and the 0.1% is just an incidental in case.
What's the purpose of cheating in the fan leagues? It's not like you win
to be the next Paul Oyama, I guess. I don't know. But I mean, it is one of those things where people either weren't taking the fan leagues very seriously, or they were thinking like, oh, this is just, these kids having fun out there. They're like playing street ball or something. Now it's becoming something that's a lot more legitimate. You have these people who have come into the Schmoedown who have made it fairly big. Chances on his way for another title shot. Paul has a title. Smets was this close to getting one and could be right back up in there again, depending on how the next couple of months shake out for Inner Geekdom. The fan leagues are becoming a lot more legitimate every time someone who came out of them does something like this that really kind of makes news. So that's good for them. I'm really happy that all the people who are working in the fan leagues are getting more recognition, and it's good.
And also, one person we forgot to mention is Brandon Hanna as well.
The boss baby. Yeah, Brandon Hanna, who very well could be in the Inner Geekdom kind of upcoming good I don't know what I'm trying to say. He could be up there. We've only seen him play one match, but get him a match against someone. He's got an upcoming match, but get him a match against like Smets. Let's see what he does here. We need him to get a match against someone who has the experience in the league. And let's get it. Yeah. All right. So that was the match. Matt, do you want to talk about this one? No? Okay. Well, then we'll just...
Oh, are we moving on?
No, you can talk about this. match?
So this title match happened. It was the first one I've ever actually caught live. Yeah. Dan played it safe, is what I'll say. I talked to Abe about this actually right after it happened. I feel like Dan played it safe, particularly in the speed round. I think Paul was really on form, and I just felt like Dan should have at a certain point been like, oh, he's not gonna, and I'm not trying to be mean. Congrats to Paul, and good work representing the fan leagues. But I just felt like I don't know why this wasn't this killer Dan Murrow we're used to seeing. New York's gonna be interesting, I think, for Paul to sort of see for your first title defense to be against 3 really well-established players in a live setting. It's going to be interesting to see how he operates. But for right now, this was an interesting match, is what I'll say.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said he played it safe. I mean, he didn't have a lot of chance to do anything unsafe. I mean, like he had a great round 2.
No, he did. I'm really just talking about that round. I think again, you talked about
the
round
speed
5.
round. Yeah, I think he definitely wasn't as quick on the draw as Paul was, but I don't know that he could have, like, if the person beside you is just answering the questions faster, and it's not really, I'm just going to hit the buzzer to hit the buzzer, then you lose points.
It's just what I saw.
Yeah, the only instance would be round 3, the betting round. He only put up 1 point. Horror, he's actually pretty good in. Like he knows a lot about the genre in terms of what the Schmoedown is going to ask.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know why he didn't put up more than 1, other than that he was up by like 5 points. Like why chance not getting it?
But
it might have been one of those cases, like as said, he was up 5 points at that point. Maybe he thought it was like, I don't need to take too much of a risk. Like he probably underestimated Paul and thought, Paul's probably going to put up a lot, but get the question wrong. And all that.
Hindsight is 20/20 on all these things, and I think particularly in round 5, he just Pixar was just his Achilles heel in this case.
I mean that is really surprising to me because he's answered Pixar questions before, so it's just surprising that he got both of them wrong. Like, I don't know, it was a little weird to me. But Paul has his upcoming match. It's going to be in New York.
Yeah, it's
against Snyder, Kalinowski, or Ben Bateman. Mm-hmm. So I honestly, at this point, kind of have my money on Kalinowski making it to this match. He's shown that he can very effectively study for both regular questions and inner geekdom questions at a really scary level. So I just don't know what's going to stop him in the future if he keeps putting up perfect rounds and stuff. I just don't think people are going to be able to stop him. So that's my bet, would be Kalinowski. Do you guys have a opinion on who he's going to be coming up against in this August match here?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think
it's going to be... Oh, okay, Malcolm, it's like that.
Well,
one of you guys has to talk. So, Malcolm, what's your take?
I mean, I think if Kalinowski continues on his tier that he's on, it's most likely going to be Kalinowski, but I mean, in saying that, Bateman could easily pull the upset and get in as well. So,
yeah, and I mean, I don't want to say that Bateman or Snyder definitely couldn't do it. I just think that Kalinowski, the way he's been playing recently, this is like the way that we're used to seeing Dan Murrow play, putting up hundreds. Like, you can't beat someone who has a perfect game. It's just impossible. So if he keeps playing like that, he's the safe bet right now. But, Bateman is very good. Snyder is very good. So any of them could do it. I just think right now, Kalinowski is the one to beat. Matt, do you have a different opinion here?
I do. I think that
Really, you have a different opinion of something involving Ben Bateman?
this is
I
what
don't
I do.
believe
This is what happens, people. You come onto this show, you give up your free time to be on her show, even though she was traitor to this show over the weekend. Everyone saw, and this is the thanks I get, everybody. We're trying to bring a little bit of different opinions of the Schmoedown fan base. What I think you guys are overlooking with Bateman is in his match against Guy, he didn't really particularly get to show it because that match was a slaughter. Ben is crazy when it comes to studying. If you follow him on social media, he travels a lot for work. All he does is just watch movies he's never seen on the planes. And those are long plane rides. He's really taking time. I do think that Mike is an incredible competitor. If Mike wins, I'm not going to be upset. Mike and Ben right now are flip-flopping as my 2 and 3 favorite singles competitors. So either one I would be happy to see. I just think Bateman, I just think he's so focused on the singles title. And not to say that Mike isn't, but Mike has inner geekdom and teams and singles. And it's like, I know all this time, but like Ben is, sadly, just because Who's the Boss hasn't, that has happened. But, like he's so focused on the singles route. He wants it. He wants to play Paul in New York. I think you saw once Harloff posted the picture of Paul with the belt, like Ben was the first person to comment. But yeah, if Mike wins, the only person who would really shock me would be Jeff. And there's nothing against Jeff. It's just I just don't see him beating Ben or Mike the way they're playing right now. And that if Jeff is able to, shock us, I'll be happy. But for right now, I just think Ben and Mike are on such a tear in their own personal ways that every one of them are going to take it. Is that okay, Kristen, or should I just say
no? I agree with you. I know how hard he studies. That's why I said I don't want to say that they can't make it. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Ben is a good choice. If I was gonna have a second choice, I would probably pick Ben just because he's been the more stable of the 2 remaining people in terms of the way they've played recently. Jeff has been, kind of on and off recently, a little more on, but I just keep going back to that Chicago performance of Jeff's where he just laid on the ground because he knew Andreyko was going to take care of it for him.
Kristen is really trying to watch petitions about Jeff now.
I really am. I'm so paranoid. He's lurking. He's one of those random people who doesn't comment in the chat but watches just to make sure we're not talking shit about him.
Oh yeah, I see Jeff the link, so he might pop it in.
No.
Oh my god, should we?
Honestly, no. I do think Jeff is one of the best competitors in the league. He's just also one of the most inconsistent competitors in the league. And that's part of the reason you like watching him play, because it's always a surprise which Jeff shows up. It's also one of the reasons that I don't pick him to win a lot of the time, because you don't know what Jeff is going to show up. Well, yeah, let's move on before I dig myself a hole.
I mean, the cool guy says in the chat, Jeff has beaten Roker 4 times, so he can pull it out.
I mean,
isn't that teams they're talking about, or are they talking about singles? I'm trying to remember.
I mean, that was a lot of it was teams.
I don't think that's exactly fair to say.
Yeah.
It's like when Roka said he beat Riley 3 times and he was counting the 2015 teams tournaments. I mean, that is technically true, but you both had teammates. So
I think the cool guy is a Snyder. The cool guy is just Jeff Snyder.
Nice Guy Fieri.
Well, he's
in the cast of Boy Meets World.
He's defending him very hard right now, and I'm nervous that he actually is Jeff.
Kristen,
I'm
just gonna sit here and not talk for the rest of the
I can confirm he's not Jeff Snyder. He was on an episode of Rankin. So
are you sure? He could be wearing a mask. All right, let's move on. I love this. It is definitely love this title match. I have to say, that, it was brought up in the chat at some point, but I do have a tinfoil hat moment for this episode, a new one that actually isn't a new one because I've mentioned it before, but I'm going to bring it back up because it seems to be happening more and more. Ben Bateman and Tom Dagnino are plants in the Horsemen to break them up from the inside. At the end of all of this, they're going to go back. They're going to join with Guy. They're going to kick Robert Meyer Burnett out of the faction. Tom's going to be the new ruler of the family. That's the tinfoil hat moment. It's just a little suspicious that as Tom and Ben have joined the Horsemen, that they've lost and lost and lost and lost, and now Dan doesn't have a belt, and the founding fathers didn't get their title shot. I'm just saying.
Let me stop you right there. It's not Tom and Ben's fault that Roker and Merle shit the bed in their matches.
Whoa. It's
not their fault. Maybe what happened was when Bateman and Dagnino joined, the greatness of them was too much for Roker and Merle to handle. Maybe that's what happened. How about that for a tinfoil?
I mean, we'll find out when Ben and Kalinowski go at it whether this Horseman curse is still a thing.
I just think at the end of the season, it's all going to be revealed that Ben Bateman and Andrew Guy never were really fighting, and it was all to get back at Roka.
They take Riley with them, which they probably will. I'm fine with it.
You know what? And then I can finally get my evil Superman thing to happen. That was my last year's tinfoil hat moment before tinfoil hat moments existed on the summit. Riley is going to go dark Superman at the end of the season. It's perfect. It's perfect.
You stop with that, Kristen.
Evil Superman. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it.
Hashtag kill watch.
Shut up.
No, all right, so that's
good things did not happen last time.
I think I need to start bringing out a tinfoil hat when I start these things because I'm having a lot of fun with them. Honestly, if I can make a conspiracy theory every single episode, I'm gonna do it because I'm having a lot of fun with these.
It's Kristen's conspiracy corner.
You know how easy it is to make conspiracy theories in Schmoedown? It's as easy as this. I think that actually Mark L is a baby carrot inside of a robot. See? You can do it.
Hey, but they have to make sense within the storyline, Matthew. You can't just put up bullshit and expect people to believe it.
I mean...
Really? Don't we do that every week? We give our predictions?
Hey, they're educated guesses. The other conspiracy is that Paul's a robot. I've mentioned it before. It's basically been confirmed on the rundown, so it's no longer a conspiracy theory. It's just a fact. So we can move on.
I mean, the other one is Mark Riley could be a android because as we saw in an earlier cutscene, Bibiani killed Riley at the desk.
He's got clones. This is like the fourth iteration of Mark Riley. It's not even the second. He's been killed before. He's been killed a couple times. They had to kill one of them off to make him agree to join the Horsemen. I mean, it's like the fourth clone of Mark Riley at this point. We have a couple theories in the chat I want to call out because I really enjoy them. Garth, who is a great new fan of the show, thank you for watching, says the kid will drop his nice guy act and become a heel. I love it. I love it. I want that to happen. But I also kind of like the difference of someone like Bibiani who can be a little more conniving and like the...
Did you read the one above that, Kristen?
What?
Read the theory above that?
I like that hat. I gotta read you know what? Let me get through the theory. Just talking. Matt Kearns is actually Mark Riley's son. I don't think that's a theory. I think that's just a reality. Thank you for the graphic, Abe. I really like it.
I'm gonna say that my real father John's gonna be very confused.
You know what? You can have an adoptive father. I don't know.
Well, my real father is sitting right behind you, and he abandoned me. So I would love if Mark would adopt me as his son. That would be great.
All right, so let's move on. Tinfoil hat moment over. Thank you for the graphic, Gabe. I appreciate it. Yeah, so let's talk about Comic-Con real quick. We I don't know.
Top Gun 2 Maverick.
Yeah.
Well,
We're not going to talk about Comic-Con. We're going to talk about the Schmoedown.
Okay.
Real quick, because we haven't actually watched the matches yet because I've been busy. Well, I don't know. Maybe Malcolm has watched it, but I know Matt hasn't. I've been a little
I haven't
busy.
watched it for all you people. That's why.
Just real quick, because we're going to talk a lot about these matches next week, obviously. But I've got Smets, I've got Cushing. I think those are going to be my go-tos every time they show up in an Intergeekdom match, unless it's against each other, and then I'm just going to have to like cut myself in half. I don't know. That it sounds really painful. I don't know. Matt, who do you think's winning these matches?
I got Mike and I got Smets. I love Rachel. I just think Mike, I've said it before and I'll say it again, that's the belt he wants the most. He's been, since he lost the belt, he has been studying his ass off. If you follow Mike on social media this past week, he showed that even in the hotel room at Comic-Con, he was studying. And then with Smets, I just think Smets, it was, he had his moment we talked about with all the others, but I think what he said when he was on the summit was really great, where he's like, running a marathon, once you like train for a marathon, you can run another one right afterwards, where it's like he was already prepping for Mike.
Yeah.
So I have
That's fair.
That's not going to be gone.
Well, and yeah, that's definitely what he said in the interview, was just he was preparing for one of the best in the league. So he
was preparing for the best in the league.
Not a direct quote, obviously. It might have been a direct quote. You don't know. How did you get that up there so fast? That's really impressive.
He's had it on computer for a while. He was just waiting to share it.
I'm gonna just start saying that more often because I'm having a really good time I'm having a really good time with your graphics, Abe. You're doing a great job. Yeah, the entire interview with Smets, he talked about how he had been preparing for one of the best in the entire league. And when you're preparing for someone who's amazing like that, you kind of are already prepared for everyone else that can get thrown at you. So I think he's the safe bet. Malcolm, do you agree with myself or do you agree with Matthew? Because if you agree with Matthew, I might have to fire you from the summit.
Oh, it's okay, Malcolm. When Kristen abandons us to another show or to other things, you can come back on the summit.
I mean, I agree with the smartest person on the summit, and that's Smets and Cushing are going to win their matches.
Thank you.
Malcolm. I'll remember that. I'll remember that.
Oh, Chris Clark at Corn. That segues us into our next topic of discussion, and probably our last topic of discussion, the Robert Meyer Burnett section of the Schmoedown, which I'm sure we'll be talking about quite frequently for the next month. This guy is hilarious. This guy is insane. This guy is in charge. And boy, did he come out of the gate running. He started out by harassing, Levine. He started out by harassing Emma. He started out by being Thanos. He's making an official rule book. He's setting rules about rematches. He's setting rules about the free-for-all. He's setting rules about the tournaments. He's making his own job. This guy is going crazy. If you know anything about Chris Clark, you know that he loves his Robert Meyer Burnett more than life itself. So when all of these things were happening, all these cutscenes, I just kept imagining that high-pitched, excited noise Chris Clark makes. The one.
The one none of us can recreate.
He goes, something like that. That I just kept hearing it, and maybe it was actually him from across the country being that excited about Robert Meyer Burnett. Maybe it was just my imagination. We'll never know. But I'm really excited for Chris Clark. I think that he's going to have a field day telling people all about his love for Robert Meyer Burnett.
I have his stream actually.
Do you? Okay, we'll be real quiet. That's about it, actually. Yeah. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts about this, because I did actually have a lot to say about this on the rundown. Traitor. Yeah. So
But
Matt,
you can't say it. It doesn't work.
Matt, why don't you tell us about your thoughts on
You
all of
don't
these
even
upcoming
go
changes?
here anymore.
What do you think about these upcoming changes that Rob has in store for the Schmoedown?
It's all crazy, and I'm so happy that this is only a month. It's something, all right. It's something. To quote another movie. That's a bold move there, Con. Let's see if it pays off. Yeah, Burnett as Hamish for a month. It's gonna be interesting. But there's nothing that really like. Mostly because I'm an idiot. There's nothing that really sticking out in my head.
Well, I mean, the rule book. The rule book's huge.
Yeah, I had something happen to me over the weekend that kind of made me forget a lot about the Schmoedown.
Okay, well, the
so-
rule book, the fact that free for all winners have an entire year after free for all to use their title shot. The fact that he's going to be adding rules to the rule book is also a thing.
Well, the rule book, I think, wasn't that in existence already?
Yeah,
or-
I
but it's
thought
going to be a PDF, like you can download
Oh, it's a
it.
PDF
It's going to be downloadable, basically.
for the fans.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. It's going to be available for the competitors at least, but I hope it will be online at triviasd.com for all your trivia SD needs.
I'll comment on that one. I apologize to you guys. I was not a good panelist this week. I think the rule book is really great. We've talked about this year on the summit already a lot of things where we're like, well, why is this being called in this match but not this one? And that's just as panelists, which is like at a certain point, why does it matter what we think? But I think for the competitors, I know from them even they have like, why is this? So it'll probably be nice to have it all in an easy access spot. And I think also for the people on the desk to just like when stuff comes up to just be like, all right, what does the rule book say? Because then we won't have, well, depending on if it's Ken and Harloff or Emma and Ellis or whoever, to make a different call. It's like if we have we have a Knights of the Round Table thing, a bunch of people come in with the Schmoedown and they decide what the best rules are for the Schmoedown moving forward. I think that would be great. I think we would avoid a lot of crazy stuff if it's just like everyone understands, and it's so yeah, that's good on you, Burnett.
Yeah, I think
me at the beginning when you started just like laughing. I was like, oh my God,
the rule book thing is a smokescreen, in my opinion. He's doing it to get the fans on his side because the fans have been asking for it like crazy. I would love there to be a rule book just so that, when things do happen, people can pull it out of their pockets and cite subsection D, paragraph 11 on page 277 of why that the other competitor is wrong. I think that that's going to be great. It'll add a lot of courtroom drama to the matches. I'm really going to appreciate that. But
I hope Tom downloads it and puts it in an actual book and just walks around with it.
It'll be like in his like pocket. Like,
he'll
wear like a shirt and he'll just pull it out.
Little Bobby in the juice briefcase that he will walk around with just the rule book.
I'm imagining someone coming in with it in an old-timey get-up, holding a big scroll going, subsection fee.
Right, he just like unrolls it. But it's got to make that really satisfying scroll sound. If you've ever heard a scroll unroll, it goes like it's very satisfying sounding. So it's got to be a real scroll.
They were in Captain Marvel, which is available on Blu-ray and DVD right now.
Do you have it sitting next to you?
No,
I don't care.
Captain Marvel, but you know what I do have? Clerks 2, available on DVD and Blu-ray. That's what I do.
Okay, so the other thing that he talked about was the tournaments. He's making a new job. He's creating a new job and hiring himself. That's not a direct quote. Robert Meyer Burnett will be that new tournament commissioner. He's going to make the brackets. He's going to set any tournament rules. He's going to set the prizes. I think that last year's tournament was corruption, right? It was this big thing. This year, anarchy. You're right. Sorry. I keep saying corruption because that's what their team name was. This year, because of something he said, I think that the tournament is going to be called Annihilation. He said something about like annihilating. It just stuck in my head. It's a great catchword, honestly. Like
Endgame.
It's going to be called Endgame. This is the end game now, Abe. No, it's going to be called Annihilation. They're going to annihilate everything we hold dear. I'm really going to like it. It's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. Don't do it. No. Yes, Abe, I know it was a joke. I know it was a joke. Okay, so I'm going to get you guys' opinions on this because this is also big. This is like really big news. Matt, do you have an opinion? Would you like to share?
Yeah, I think one, the setting of the prizes is interesting because does that mean the tournaments aren't going to be for a shot at the belt?
You know, it's not actually set in stone that's going to be what happens.
What if like he doesn't reveal until like, you know, the finals, and then it's like, you know, when we play against Sharwolves or whoever, it's like, oh no, you actually just get this penny. Congrats for winning the tournament.
I mean,
because the family's going to be playing like
really funny. That would be
funny.
Yeah.
Annihilation. It makes me think we're gonna get like Battle Royale Schmoedown edition. To where
I don't
it's like,
disagree with that.
In the middle of every round, we have like a martial arts fight. Oh my god, that would be awesome.
I don't see why this is a bad idea.
And then we can have the managers come in. Like we have like Who's the Boss playing. We have Tom Dagnino comes in just in the middle of the match, just hits someone with a chair and runs off.
Matt, your best friend's in our chat now. Hello, Billy.
Billy.
Say hi to your best friend. All right. Okay, you can continue now. I just wanted to make sure that Billy knew that you loved him.
Imagine like Kaiser could come in and like burn someone with one of his cigars or something and run off. Like we could just have a bunch of crazy shit. Have it happen, Burnett. You can come out and set someone on fire in the middle of the match.
Perfect. I think it's great. That's a great
anarchy.
Annihilation. I'm seeing nothing wrong with any of this.
Annihilation.
It just sounds like Mortal Kombat, and that's what I want. That's all I want in my life.
You just don't want Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
No. Kind of. Do I want that?
It's a piece of movie.
Whoa. Malcolm, that was a hot take that I do not appreciate on my show.
I mean, all the Mortal Kombat movies are not good, but...
Whoa!
I believe
Whoa.
said it best when he said,
Abe's show, excuse me. Malcolm, what's your take on the tournament, the new position that Robert Meyer Burnett has made for himself, and potentially a title for that tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that with Robert Meyer Burnett in charge, hasn't. I always thought with him now in charge, he'll find a way to get himself a job and make his role as commissioner last even longer.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But I mean, the tournament, I don't know much to say because he hasn't said much about sort of what's happening. But so I don't know what more to say about it. But I really did like the Sam Levine on my Burnett cutscene where he came in, take control of the office. Like Sam's like, yeah, fine, you can have it. See you in 30 days.
Abe, what's going on with the blanket?
Oh no, the thing is, I have the air conditioner in the back, and it's really fucking cold. Oh no,
Okay.
but like, I want to comment this. Please take me.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I like Burnett running it. The only thing that I don't like is like they set up the tournament whatever they want, like to make matches more interesting, and I understand that. However, as I think I like the sports aspect, and I think that throws away the rankings. And then what's the point of the rankings when the rankings are for the tournament and you're not gonna use them? I mean, it's a storyline, fine, but like you should stick. I think it like if it's a sport, like nothing else matters. Like in the play game, like nothing affects that. Then don't affect the rankings, which are not set up by storylines. They are set up by the game. So don't nothing with the game in that point. And I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I don't want them pulling another Anarchy. Like, I don't want them making new teams for this tournament.
Yeah,
I want existing teams. I want, new teams to be in there. I want it to be an interesting mix of people, old guard, new guard. We don't need a season 3 tournament. We don't need Anarchy. We need this to be its own thing. So I definitely don't want them to do away with our current teams at all.
I think Anarchy was the perfect thing to do last season because I think
Oh, yeah.
a lot of teams by that point had broken up or not been playing because of records or this. I think it was the perfect switch up to do, and we got some teams that didn't last, but we got a lot of teams that maybe like wouldn't have formed, like Corruption, who's the boss of Fine Fire. These teams that maybe
The best team,
wouldn't have
the Cinemaniacs.
Inky and the Brain.
Inky and the Brain is fantastic.
Maybe they wouldn't have formed, but I think this season, Kristen said best, where we do have a lot of the old guard, and then we also have a lot of these new teams, and I think
we've got the loose cannons.
Teams.
We've got
a lot of teams. That,
the Beauty and the Beast and the Kid that's going to come up soon. We have so many new teams this year, and teams that weren't around in the Anarchy tournament as well. That's kind of crazy to me, actually. It's just kind of weird that we have so many new teams out after an entire year where all the teams were changed and were new. So it's going to be interesting to see who's in this tournament. We do need to take this to the close of the show. We've reached the end of our talking. So next week we're gonna have a lot to talk about, I'm sure, because there's gonna be a lot of news. I am expecting to hear about these tournaments soon. I mean, they keep teasing them. I'd assume we're gonna get something about them pretty soon. We're gonna get some more of these storylines. I hope by that point we're gonna hear more about some new things Rob has in store for the league. And we're going to get those great Comic-Con matches, Smets and Lavik and Rachel and Mike. They're going to be fantastic. I'm really excited to see them once they do drop. But let's bring it out to a close. Matthew Kearns, where can we find you on the internet?
I apologize. You guys, as always, can find me at Kearns_Matthew on Twitter, MattMovies611 on YouTube and WordPress. You find me right here as host of the oh my god, flashback. I was about to say movie fandom show. You can find me as that show is still on playlist here. You can find me as the host of Second Look. And also right here on the summit, always being harassed for my opinions. And you can also find the complete View Askew universe films available on DVD, Blu-ray. That's right. Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and Clerks 2. Get yourself ready for Jay and Silent Reboot with the View Askew universe films. Also, You can find me at the New York event in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, go find him there.
I'll be selling autographs of my Han Solo costumes for $24.95.
That's 24 cents. And then you have to cut. You have to cut something in half or a small amount for the 95. Malcolm, where can we find you?
You can find me on hosting Rankum every Sunday night. Next week is going to be top 12 Quentin Tarantino characters. You can also find me hosting Formula Random over on Formula Trivia as page every Tuesday. This week is a Bill and Ted match. You can also find me competing all over multiplex and Formula Trivia in various matches. Me and Matt have got a team match against Future Shock coming up in which we will destroy them. But
hey, Future Shock, you guys want a shock from the future? You get KO'd. Suckers.
And you can also find me on Twitter, Letterboxd, and Stardust at Melkor.
That never is going to be not timeless, Malcolm.
Perfect. Huh? Abe, do you want to plug yourself on the show?
Oh my God, Kristen!
You can follow me on Twitter at AbrahamLeft25. You can follow me on Instagram at Abraham. Oh no, Twitter is AbrahamF25. Instagram is AbrahamFlores25. And please don't add me on Facebook if you don't know me. No one has added me in a while, so we're doing
All of these warnings on the summit have been working, Abe. It's perfect. It's why we let you plug your online personality. It's just so people don't Facebook you. It's perfect. Just do that the rest of the show, please. Thank you. You can find me Twitter, Instagram, Stardust Smith _K10, the number, not the word. Even though I don't post anything on Stardust, you can still find me there. You can also find me right here hosting the show that you're watching. If you don't know what show you're watching, maybe get your brain checked out. I don't know. I'm no judgment. You can also find me quoting random things from the Schmoedown. What's good for the goose is not always good for the gander. And also quack, 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 quack. That's it for us, guys. Have a good day. Take care.
It's the Biz. Quack, 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 quack.
You gotta take us out live so that we stop
It's the
quacking.
Biz. It's the Biz. It's the Biz. Quack, 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 quack,
I
quack.
think Abe might be frozen.
Quack, 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 quack,
Guys,
quack,